Welcome back to Light the Fuse, the only Mission Impossible podcast with almost no Mission Impossible content this week, I gotta say. I just want to put that out there up front.
There's not much Mission Impossible talk in this one, but we do get into it a bit at the end.
We do.
And he has a very big compliment for Fallout.
Yes.
Which is really cool to hear.
Yeah, but this episode, this is mostly a Charles Hood / Chris Farley type episode. Charles brings up something cool that Greg Powell has done, reminds him that it's awesome, and then Greg Powell talks about it.
You're referring to the Chris Farley sketch where he would just talk to people and say, from Saturday Night Live, where he would just say, ask him, do you remember when you were in the Beatles? Like to Paul McCartney? That was awesome.
Yeah.
No, he talks about the experience. I mean, yes, there is an element of me just saying awesome, but there is also some illuminating stories and things, I think, you know?
Yes, I think so. I think it's more like you got a hold of his sort of contact book and said, tell me about working with Roberto Benigni. Tell me about working with Peter Sellers. And he kind of gives you what you want, I think. I hope.
Yes. Well, he's worked with a lot of my heroes, so it was cool to hear him talk about it.
You know, as I was referring to, you know, we get into a lot of different movies.
Yes. I got some things I want to bring up on the back end, but I'm good for now if you want to do your shout outs.
Okay, we won't bring up any specifics, but this one is great. Yeah, I got to give my shout outs right now. That this episode is brought to you by Jeremy Dillon and his podcast, My Favorite Album, where he interviews a different musician, songwriter, actor, or filmmaker about the music they love and how it's influenced them and their work. And he's talked to people like Rose McGowan, Drew Pearce, Bob Odenkirk. You know, we talked to a lot of people from Nobody, so go back and listen to that episode of Jeremy's podcast. And Charles, you and I are going to be on it sometime soon, I hope, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And this episode is also brought to you by John B. So with my shout-outs concluded, let's throw it over to Kevin Blumenfeld's legally touchy version of the plot theme.
You've worked on several James Bond movies.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, big James Bond fan. So I'm curious, you know, what were you Spy Who Loved Me?
Was the first one I actually worked on.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah. Living Daylights.
Living Daylights. And A View to a Kill too, as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then also the non-Bond movie, Never Say Never Again. So what were some of the stunts you were doing for the James Bond movies?
Well, on the first one, it was on they built the 007 stage was all the submarines, all the guys in the interior boat. I probably got killed about several times in there in different outfits. You know, getting shot, falling into water, falling from the top. You know, on that one. For Your Eyes Only, I played one of the heavies around the swimming pool with all the girls come running down, firing a machine gun, and I get shot with a crossbow. Plus numerous other stunts, you know, driving stuff. And just a run-of-the-mill stunt guy. On Living Daylights, I was the horse master on that one with Timothy Dalton. So, and Marianne Diabo, we had they rode, but I selected the horses for them in Morocco and was in charge of them sequences with the horses. But I'll go back to on the Bonds because my father was on the Bond with his brother to 1962. I mean, I was 8 years old. Pinewood Studios on the back lot from Russia with Love, watching Sean Connery run around the gypsy encampment. And it was night work, so I didn't have to go to school the next day.
Wow.
So I remember Sean Connery running round and he was, you know, shot my uncle, killed my dad and all the other stunt guys I knew. And I used to go there at night because my dad didn't mind me going to school. And I used to go and get the teas and coffees. And then the stunt guys used to ask me, go and get my gun. So I used to run to the armoury truck, go and get a great big machine gun and run back as an 8-year-old kid. Like today, you get shot for that today. You know, so I'll go back as far as 1962 with the Bonds.
Wow.
I did meet Sean that night. Probably he wouldn't remember that, but I'll see him several times after that. And then I think the last time I see the first night was the last time. Then I done Never Say Never with him in the south of France, which was great. You know, the other Bond with Vic Armstrong. That was fantastic. And then the last time I see Sean was working with him on the first night. We played King Arthur, which was good. Yeah, you know, brilliant.
Wow, it's a lot of history there for James Bond and you.
Well, you know, I think one of my family, a member of one of my family, has been on the James Bond films ever since they started. So my father, his brother, me, my brother, and now my youngest daughter has all worked on Bond films, everyone since they started.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Are they involved in this new one that's coming out?
I think my brother he didn't do the last one. I think Tilly worked on it. I'm not 100% sure. If she didn't work on it, then that's the first one we haven't been involved in.
Wow. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
What were you on that one?
I doubled for Pat Roach on that one. You know, in the mines with all the kids, and he done the fight in the mines with Indy on that conveyor belt. And also I played, if you probably know the scene where he's arguing with the lady. They're in two separate rooms and he's eating an apple and he paces up and down. And I'm standing in the background as a painting with all Indian guys with turbans on, just standing there. And as he walks up to me, turns around, as he walks away, I'll step out of the painting. And then I have a fight with him and I get whipped up into the chandelier and spun round in the chandelier, if you remember that.
No, you get crushed by the fan or something?
That's right, exactly. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
That's great.
I done the fight. We'd done the fight with Harrison on that, and he hurt his back on that, and they blamed me for it. Well, Mr. Spielberg did years later because I worked with him on Band of Brothers, and I reintroduced myself with him and told him that. He went, "I remember you." He said, "You cost us 3 weeks." I went, "No. I said, Vic told me to do that fight like that, so you tell Vic it wasn't me."
Wow. How many times have you worked with Vic Armstrong?
Over the years, I mean, me and Vic go back a long time. I mean, a long time when we were both stunt performers. And Vic went, because he's a few years older than me, and he went into coordinating. And I used to be with Vic all the time, way back. And we done like the Bond, Kroll, numerous other things. And the last time me and Vic worked, he was the second unit director, and I was the coordinator on Angel Has Fallen, which turned out to be great. It was enjoyable working again with Vic as a second unit director and me as a stunt coordinator. Two old guys got together again and blow everyone up, which we done and loved it.
Well, and then he came and coordinated and second unit directed MI3, so he's connected with you in that way as well through this franchise.
Yeah.
The original Superman and Superman 2, were you only on the Richard Donner section? Because I think he and Richard Lester kind of split Superman 2.
Yeah, I can't remember who was directing what then, on the Superman one, on the New York street, on the second one, in the White House, when I think it's another chandelier, they seem to crush me with chandeliers, comes down on the guards. But who was directing what, to be honest, I can't remember, to be honest with you. One of the two of them was doing it.
Yeah. So I'm a gigantic Blake Edwards fan. And it says that you did stunts for Victor Victoria.
Everyone loved Blake Edwards. You could not dislike Blake Edwards. He was absolutely fantastic guy. He was a really nice guy to have around. He was just a unique guy. I mean, I don't think there's going to be another director like Blake Edwards because, we used to do on night shoots. We were supposed to, start at 6 and go through to 6 in the morning, but he'd finish at 12 o'clock at night. Well, we wrapped. While we wrapped, it was going to take too long to move the lights. Really? But we didn't mind because we was in the south of France, so half hour we'd back, hotel, change, out to the clubs. He was the easiest guy to get on with, travel abroad with. He loved stunt guys like all the stunt guys love Blake. And they were fantastic. I couldn't say enough about Blake. Brilliant guy. And Joe Dunn, who was his stunt coordinator in the UK. Dick Crockett was his American friend who he stood by for years and years because he shared a flat with Blake shared a flat with Dick Crockett, and Dick Crockett used to look after him, so I've been told, and he never ever forgot that. Joe Dunn, who lived in lived in the UK, moved to the States and worked with Blake on 10, and the other one he done, a controversial one.
S.O.B.?
S.O.B., Joe done that, and he really looked after Joe, and they would become buddies, and Julie as well. I mean, his health is not great at the moment, but, you know, obviously Blake died a few years ago, but Julie stays in touch. A lovely family, and Jeffrey, the son, brilliant, fantastic.
Yeah, so like Blake, I think there's nobody like him in terms of making such visual, physical comedies, and he uses stuntmen so much to do that comedy.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Do you remember what you did for Victor Victoria?
I doubled for James Garner on Victor Victoria in the fight scene in the club where Julie's sung in there. So I doubled for Garner there. But then there was another fight in it. But then the Pink Panthers, you know, in Hong Kong, you know, we flew from London to Hong Kong. We got held up in Penang. And we got a message back that Blake didn't like Hong Kong, so we might be going somewhere else. And we actually run a board and say, like, where are we going next? 5-2, Rio de Janeiro. We had a whole chart, you know, but we did fly on to Hong Kong in the end. We got there, didn't do anything for 2 weeks because he couldn't make his mind up whether he likes Hong Kong or not. But we actually ended up filming in Hong Kong, the car chase with the boats, everything. Yeah, really good. Easiest guy in the world to work for. But, you know, the respect he had, I mean, when he used to walk on the set, he used to go into a room, you know, and he used to walk round and it was absolutely silent. No one muttered a word. And he used to eye up, you know, and he could spend half an hour doing that, you know, easy half an hour. All of a sudden he'd turn around, right, I'm ready, and gone. And everyone would come flying in, and that was it. But it was done in complete silence, and he just wanted to be left alone, and he had it all ready. Half an hour, brought everyone with camera there, you can stand there, the actor comes in there, she comes, you know, it was like that. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Wow, yeah, I mean, his staging is always so amazing. So are you saying you were on, was it the last Peter Sellers, was it Revenge of the Pink Panther?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah, I didn't see that in your credits.
Done that one, and then another one I done with Blake, the Pink Panther, was with Roberto Benigni, who took over.
Right.
The Pink Panther. And to be honest with you, when you was there watching Roberto do the Pink Panther, it was as funny as hell. But for some reason, that didn't transfer onto film.
Yeah.
We was laughing our heads off when he was actually doing it. But it just didn't work on film, which was such a shame. Really a shame.
Yeah, I mean, he had some amazing Italian movies in the 90s that were so funny and great.
Yeah.
Like the Monster and Johnny Stecchino and of course Life is Beautiful. But yeah, I mean, Son of the Pink Panther for whatever reason just didn't quite break through.
Yeah, you're taking on a hell of a role there if you're trying to follow Sellers, you know, because he was.
Yeah.
He's no one could do Sellers. Absolutely no one, you know.
Did you have much interaction with Peter Sellers?
Yeah. I mean, I worked with Peter a few times. I remember going back to the early 70s. I'd done a TV show with him. It was Eric Sykes, Hattie Jakes, Derek Geiler, Peter Sellers, myself, and my Uncle Dinny. We played two policemen, and he played a burglar. And you know what? How we ever finished the TV show, because all we done was laugh. All we done was laugh, because he was a great giggler. But it was a TV show, Eric Sykes show. So, you know, over the years, and he knew my uncle from years, from, you know, they used to go to clubs in the West End and meet up there, you know, when it was just one of them acting places where everyone used to meet. So they knew each other, and I knew him over a number of years.
Wow. What about Brazil, the Terry Gilliam movie? Yeah,
I didn't do too much of that. I think I'd done some abseiling on Brazil. Wasn't too much. I think I had a couple of days there. That was all on that one. Some abseiling. Bill Weston was the coordinator on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Not too much.
I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan, and you were the coordinator for The Foreigner. I know this is like late era Jackie Chan, so he's a little bit older now, but there is a good amount of fighting in The Foreigner, and I'm curious what it was like working with Jackie Chan.
I'll be honest with you, he's just another guy, obviously being a stuntman as well, respects the stunt guys, loves the stunt guys. He had a lot of input on the stuff he done there, but Martin Campbell didn't want the kung fu element of this in it. It wasn't about that, it was just like street fighting stuff. He did manage to get a bit in Jackie, but we stayed away from it as much as we could, as otherwise it'd have been like a Hong Kong film if you let him and these guys do it. But he listened to Martin and myself about how this fight should be. He's the same age, 67 years of age now, so he's not going to jump around as much as he's done, even though he's done some, but he's got a very good stunt double now, a Korean guy who does a lot of stuff for him. But Jackie can still do it, but he doesn't get up as quick. It's like me, I don't get up as quick as I used to when you hit the floor. So it's best to leave it to the younger guys. But I think that was a really good film for Jackie. To be honest, totally different. It wasn't what you were expecting a Jackie Chan film to be.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said that to me. I enjoyed the film, and so did other people, because it was totally unexpected the way it turned out.
Yeah, I really like that movie a lot. So, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, the Mamma Mia sequel. I'm actually a fan of this movie. I think it's really lovely. All the musical numbers and everything. It's gorgeously shot by Robert Yeoman. What were the stunts?
I was there. I was the dance coordinator. I put all the dances together. No, I didn't. I was just there looking after them. Because there was silly little things they was doing, standing on bars or jumping onto a barge in the river, or the bike riding. It was no way a stunt film at all. It was really babysitting the actors to make sure that they'd be safe when they jumped off of the bar while they was doing the dancing. And I got a little part in it. I played the chef in it when they was doing one scene. I just played the chef.
Oh, great!
And everyone was singing except for me. And I asked the director. I said, "Can I sing along with it?" He went, "No." I said, "No, but I really feel like I want to sing." He said, "Greg, no singing." So I was in there just doing my bit, but no singing.
Aww. I'm going to have to watch again and keep an eye out for your part. That's awesome. So basically, you're a stunt coordinator on Mamma Mia 2, and there's not really any stunts other than just making sure people don't fall off things. So is it just like a vacation? Is this great? Because you were shooting in some awesome...
Well, yeah. Well, Stephen Dent was the other coordinator, but he couldn't do one part of it. That's why I got the job. So I done the London side of it.
Okay.
And the jammy side, he done the Croatian side of it, out in the island in the sun, and they had a lovely time.
Oh, that's great. You were also on one of the Fast and the Furious movies? One of them?
Yeah, 5 or 6, I think it was.
Yeah, it's 6. Fast and Furious 6, it says. 6.
That was really, I enjoyed that because I love doing car work like they do, and I've never wrecked so many cars in my life or burnt tyres like I've burnt on that film. It was a good one to do. We had some good car stuff. We worked in London, in the city of London. Then we'd done a big sequence out in Tenerife, in the Canaries. It was a lot of rehearsals on that because the car stuff they needed to do or wanted to do on it, it's all well rehearsed, because you don't want to waste time once you're out on the location testing stuff. So like with the tank, that was all tested and built at Longcross Studios just outside of London. All the car gags, everything we tested before we went off, up into London or when we went to Tenerife and shot it. It was good to work on. And I think it was the first time the actors have actually driven the cars, I believe. So I was told they've been doing it CG World, which is fantastic. But this time, Vin was actually driving and spinning the car out in the Canary Islands, and it was good.
That's cool. How do you start with car stuff? I mean, I assume are you also a stunt driver, or do you not drive as a stuntman?
No, I'll drive.
So how do you where do you learn that from?
When I was a young man, used to do things we shouldn't do. So that's where it started. Yeah, it's something I've always liked doing is cars, when it used to snow in London, we'd be taking cars out in the snow in big car parks and skidding them around. There's driving schools you go to. I didn't go to any driving schools because I used to do it as a kid, just playing around, like my younger brother done it the same. And we just, worked on that. over the years, and then we translated what we used to do as kids into films. So I won't explain what we used to do as kids, but it worked out for films.
I can't believe I missed Skyfall. What did you do in Skyfall?
My brother was the coordinator on that. He gave me some work on that, and I think it was in the underground sequence where Daniel was running, sliding down the middle, just getting knocked out of the way, and also some driving, just to, when the M is driving towards the MI5 offices, in and out of cars. So I was just one of the drivers there.
Okay. And Bourne Ultimatum, it says assistant stunt coordinator, additional photography. Was that some kind of chase or something that was added or something like that?
No, that was just a couple of fight scenes which was left over to do. We've done at the Pinewood Studios in the bathroom scene where he's in the bath. Yeah, it was like a week's work there on that one. It was fine. No major stunt for that one.
Yeah, I know we have to wrap up soon, but the Lord of the Rings, were you on the first Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship?
Yeah, I went out onto Lord of the Rings to New Zealand. I was out there quite a while. I think I worked on all three of them because it just went with the seasons. So, we're doing like the first one, but then the season changed and they wanted it for the second one, so it worked like that. But I was out there a long time. I had to leave that because my daughter was having problems at home, and it was unfair for me to be away for another year. So I unfortunately left that one because I loved Pete, the director, the producer Barry Osborne, Peter Jackson, obviously the director. It was really good out there, but I couldn't finish it. But lucky enough, I come back home, and I was home a month, and everything was working out well. And then I done Band of Brothers, so it all worked out for the good. Then went from Band of Brothers on to Harry Potter. So in the end, it worked out very well for me.
Did you do all of the Harry Potter? Did you do them all?
I've done all of them, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there doubles for the kids?
We had doubles for all the kids. We had doubles for everyone there, all the kids. That was the hardest thing. You're doubling kids with kids. It's very difficult, but the kids I was getting were young kids from gymnastic schools and gyms and everything like that who could actually run and jump and do wonderful things. But then them same people, they grew up. Each film they grew up with the actors, and they were still the doubles at the end as well because they actually grew up with them. So it worked out pretty good. I used to double for Hagrid and Uncle Dursley. I was the only big guy there, so I thought I'd do that myself.
That's great. Wow, I mean, that's pretty amazing to have that entire, series. That's such a big, amazing thing to have on your resume.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 10 years was shooting that, Harry Potter.
Wow.
If I'd have known that I was going to be on it for 10 years, I'd have moved closer to the studios instead of driving every day. But I didn't know I was doing it until the end of the film.
I mean, would they call you up because they were making one a year? Were they like, oh, hey, you're going to come back this time?
That's right, yeah. Well, literally, it was at the end, and we'll be starting again in 2 months' time. Oh, thank you. I'll see you then. I used to go away, have a holiday, or pick up another little, couple of days' work here and there. But that's how it was for 10 years. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, and one of those jobs in the middle of all the Harry Potter run was Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yeah. R.A. Rondell was doing it originally, and he rang me to go over there and look after it for a while, but then he couldn't make it there, so I took the job on again with Tom, and it was fantastic work with him in Berlin. Yeah, that was a nice job to do actually, out there with all the soldiers and running around. Brilliant.
Yeah. And also, another one of the jobs in between all the Harry Potters was Children of Men, which is, I think, a masterpiece. That movie is incredible. Yeah,
Alfonso, because he'd done the third Harry Potter. I wasn't the coordinator on the Children of Men, Stephen was. I just went there and done some testing on the vehicles. When they all come running down the hillside, they had this special vehicle adapted. So I was testing that for a week or so for him. I may have done that film, but I wasn't available anyway. But Stephen done it anyway, and he does a good job, very good job.
That's that crazy oneer where the camera's on. Is it like it's a special car where the camera is doing 360 degrees?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, the motorbike comes up the side, everything is looking all around the car. There's a car I think comes down which they've set a light. Yeah.
It
was a good rig. Yeah, really good.
You were part of making that rig?
I helped with Stephen. Alfonso was the one who sort of going through the design with the special effects, with the camera department. So everyone had a little bit of a say in it, and I drove it. Lucky enough to drive it, so it was good. But he's a clever man, Alfonso. Very clever guy.
Yeah. So you drove it when they were shooting it, or just for the tests?
Just for the tests.
Yeah. So they were they were just doing running through it and just doing kind of a rehearsal.
We done the whole thing with the motorbikes, people running down. We had a test vehicle come running down. Make sure it all works and it stops, it goes. It turns left and right. And we done it for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Well rehearsed it, but I didn't shoot it because I was back onto Potter at the time.
Wow, that's amazing. I think Drew, we got to wrap up. Let's give him the big questions if you're ready, Drew.
Okay, here are the big questions. I'm assuming you've seen all the Mission Impossible movies. You've watched your little baby grow up over the years. I was wondering if you could rank the movies from your favorite to least favorite, or least favorite to favorite.
I must say, I've got to rank them as they go. Because as they finish one and the next one they do is better than the last one.
Right.
So I've got to rank them that way. But I must say, I think it was the last one where they done a fight in the toilets with Liang Yi. Mm-hmm. That fight is unbelievable. That's got to be one of the best fights I've seen on screen. It's fantastic.
Well, maybe along those same lines, what are some of the other ones from the subsequent films that you either loved or wish you had been a part of? I imagine The Burj was probably a big one, right?
Yeah, The Burj would have been great. The hanging on the side of the plane. All that sort of stuff. Whatever he's doing in the next one, I don't know what he's doing in the next one, really. But he's got to go some to, But as they go on, they actually the films get better, the stunts get bigger and bigger, and as I said, who can compete with his showreel? No one. It's that's it. He's done it.
He's done it all. Well, I think that's a great place to end.
Well, what about the hairstyles?
Greg doesn't care about the hairstyles. I can already tell.
I'm not worried about hairstyles.
Yeah, see, he's not worried about hairstyles. I knew it. Looking at you, Greg, I knew I couldn't ask that stupid a question. But we love him having the short hair in the first one, which you got to experience firsthand.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's a handsome guy.
Yeah, if you think so, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe.
He might have a future in this business. Is all I'm saying. Yeah. Greg, thank you so much for coming on and accepting this mission. We have been obviously huge fans of your work for decades, literally, and we can't wait to see what you do next. And please send Vic Armstrong an email and tell him to come on the show.
I'll do. I'll give him a call this evening.
We're wrapping it up. Charles, tell us what you wanted to talk about at the beginning of the episode that you couldn't talk about until now.
Well, like I said before, he talked to a lot of my heroes, and I love hearing all about Blake Edwards and the respect he commanded on set. I just think Blake Edwards is such an underrated director, and I love his style and the kind of comedy he did, and he always made it look so beautiful. And then, of course, hearing him talk about working with Jackie Chan in The Foreigner, and hearing that Jackie now has a Korean guy who is doubling him. So obviously, the days of Jackie Chan doing all his own stunts are over. And if you love the stunts of Mission Impossible, I should say, I recommend watching some of Jackie Chan's movies from the 80s and 90s, because he does some of the most insane stunts. Like the third act of Super Cop is just the most insane stunt extravaganza. And it is so awesome. Or the finale also of the first Police Story in that mall, when he's just like knocking out. I think the first Police Story is on Criterion Channel still, I hope. And Criterion did a Blu-ray of it recently as well. So anyway, yeah, it's worth checking out those movies if you love the stunt side of things with Mission Impossible. Of course, as always, I'm always plugging Jackie Chan. But it was funny to hear Greg also talk about his cameo in Mamma Mia 2. I'm going to have to go back and watch Mamma Mia 2 again so that I can see his cameo in it. That was kind of fun to hear about.
I thought you would have already watched it 5 times since we did this interview. So
I do watch the movie probably more than I should admit. But you know what? I'm not even ashamed. It's so fun and so gorgeous looking. Robert Yeoman shot the hell out of it. It's just such a fun romp. So I'm not ashamed. Mamma Mia 2 is awesome.
No, I mean these are some amazing stories he gave it. Was there anything that you learned?
He did testing on the special car rig that did the crazy oneer in Children of Men.
That's right.
Like, that was so cool to hear about. I mean, I love that sequence in Children of Men.
Yeah. God, this guy's career. I mean, we've talked to people who have literally, had careers that other people in the industry would kill for. And I think this is one of those examples for sure.
Yeah.
That sums it up well. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, just his compliment for Fallout. He said the fight in the bathroom in Fallout is one of the best ever put on screen.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. How could you disagree? That bathroom fight in Fallout is a work of art.
What if it was Jackie Chan's stunt double? Probably wouldn't have had the same impact.
If you're saying who was in the fight scene?
Yeah, what if instead of Henry Cavill, it was...
Oh, it wouldn't have the same impact. No, I mean, that's...
No.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Cavill and Cruise are doing that with that stunt guy who's so great.
I mean, it is sort of disappointing that Jackie's not doing it, but it also... He really has passed the baton over to Cruise.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie, really, I haven't really been in love with any... I mean, The Foreigner is the best Jackie Chan movie that he's made in years, but it's not even really a Jackie Chan movie. It's more of a Martin Campbell movie, and Jackie Chan is kind of more of the fact that he's more of just an actor in that rather than it being, in quotes, a Jackie Chan movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I feel like even the past decade, I mean, I think it's only like I like Jackie's performance in the Karate Kid remake and The Foreigner, and other than that, I mean, it's been a while since he's made a movie that really, I thought, that was like one of the classic Jackie Chan movies. I mean, the last one that I really loved was Shanghai Nights, which I think is his best American movie.
Right.
But I mean, it's been a while since, First Strike or Super Cop or, Rumble in the Bronx. Those are not all in the 90s.
Truly, the 90s was the peak era for us all. Yeah. No, this was a great chat. And hopefully we're having some more people in the stunt world, right? Soon?
Yes, we're working on that. We have had someone on the books that we're rescheduling that was really cool, and also has a Jackie Chan connection.
Oh, here we
so
go.
If you're tired of Jackie Chan questions, sorry. But we've got other people on the hook now too that we're excited to talk about coming up soon. Very, very excited. Not sure the exact order of things coming up, but a lot of exciting things coming up. So stay tuned, and please sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/LightTheFuse. We've done a bunch of awesome bonus episodes recently. We did a top 5 De Palma. So we each talked about our top 5 De Palma movies that we love so much in honor of our De Palma interview that we did recently. And we also did a top 10 of the year so far, now that we've passed the halfway point of the year. And we did a cool episode about cameos that were in MI3 and Ghost Protocol that we had never heard about before. We dug up this old news article and found out about a cameo that was supposed to be in Ghost Protocol that also listed one that was supposed to be in MI3 that we had never heard before. It was really cool little Easter eggs that never ended up happening, unfortunately, but it was news to us and it was fun to talk about. And if you can't sign up for our Patreon, then please write us a review or buy a shirt or a mask from our TeePublic store, which is linked from our website at lightthefusepodcast.com in the merch section, or check the episode guide and look at all our show notes, because that's a really fun visual companion to all of our episodes. And follow us on social media, and I guess I should do my shout outs as well. Here, I'm just sort of covering all the bases.
Yeah, do it.
I want to give a special thank you to Jacob from Holland and Jacob Ballard. These two Jacobs have been with us for a very long time, and we love them very much, and they have made this episode possible, so it's great. They help us out all the time. So, thank you to them, and thank you to Luke Burson, our editor and mixer. Thank you to Kevin Blumenfeld, our music composer, and to Parth Marate, our intern. And I think that's about all we've got for this week.
Yeah, I think so. But what do we know what next week's is?
No, we don't. I mean,
Okay.
We've got a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire. We can't say quite yet what is next. Depends on what rises to the top. But we've got We've got a lot of, I'm just mixing my metaphors, but it's exciting. It's a lot of fun things that are coming. And also coming soon, I guess I'll just tease too that we're going to do a big making of Rogue Nation soon as well. So
great.
I'll just let that slip right there. And I'm not sure what's coming next, but get excited because we got some really cool stuff coming up.
Great.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. Before we go, another mission, should you choose to accept it, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember that you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LightTheFusePod, and email us questions or comments at lightthefusepodcast@gmail.com. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.